Welcome to the IVM Podcast Network. Hi, this is Amit Doshi, and I wanted to thank each and every one of our listeners. It's been 2 years since I founded IVM, and it's been an amazing 2 years. We wanted to learn a little bit more about who is listening to our shows, and so we put together a short survey. The survey is anonymous, and we aren't going to be collecting any personal information. I would really appreciate it if you could take a couple of minutes out of your day and go to ivmpodcast.com/survey and fill it out. Thanks, and please keep listening.
Alright, please note that the language and ideas presented on the show might not be suitable for everyone. If you're under 18, make sure your mom isn't around. If you're over 80, why is your mom around?
You're listening to Cyrus Says.
Yeah, we have designer, stylist extraordinaire Hina Oomer-Ahmed with us, and she's going to teach me how to dress up for school, because I'm going back.
Why follow your auntie's advice when you can follow Cyrus Says on Facebook and Twitter to stay updated about the latest shows?
It's time to talk about an beautiful experience I had, which is spending 2 weeks in the lovely country of Germany, now my favorite country in the whole world. And let me tell you why. People are courteous, people are decent, people are clean, nobody touches you, people stand in lines, there's order everywhere, there's a sunshine, it's not too hot, not too cold, there's a space for people to walk, you can play with your pets, you can be with your children, and nobody hassles you at all. It's just the most wonderful country, and I would like to appeal to all our leaders to spend some time in Germany. Of course, our main Prime Minister has probably gone there already 4 times this year, but I think we need to become part of the German culture and the German ethos, because that's the way forward for all of us. So from now on, sprechen die Deutsch in India. Sprechen die Deutsch in India. It's called Cyrus Says.
And that's what Cyrus says.
Alright, here on Cyrus Says, at last, we have someone who I need to meet, because it's been I'm now in my early 30s, people don't know this, but I need a stylist. I need someone who can make me look good. But you might say I need surgery, and the stylist is now something I should have done a little earlier. But Hina, welcome to the show. Hina Oomer-Ahmed. Is the Oomer important? Is that the full name?
It is. I fought a lot to have it in there.
Keep the family name, is it?
To keep the family name.
Why do some women really insist on that? My wife started with that. Her name is Aisha Munani, and she started with the Munani. Then because of all the paperwork involved, she dropped it somewhere along the line.
Okay.
So why does that happen?
I think it's just important to retain that identity that you've grown up with for so many years.
Or does your husband's name suck? You just don't like it?
Well, I do. I added it in, so obviously it's important as well. But I think just having
who decides which name comes first and why?
Well, I think your maiden name always comes first.
But
and
why?
I think
why?
Because that's the order of life.
Okay, so you're going in chronological order.
Exactly.
You were born with this name, and then the next name comes there. If you marry a second time, would you keep like 3 names?
I'll consider it, depending on how the third one sounds. But I kind of like the ring of Oomer-Ahmed.
But then I'm going to ask another question, not to be sexist, but then why can't the mother's maiden name also come into it? You've got your father's surname, but you've retained your family name, and in a sense, it's almost like a woman thing, because you're saying, no, I want to keep my family name, but I don't want to be dominated by my husband and his name. So why not your mother's maiden name in the first place as well?
Yeah, why not? I guess it's a little too late for that for me, but maybe my daughter can consider it.
Yeah, Cyrus, plenty smart.
Yeah.
Cyrus, not just
You're
Hulk.
onto something, Cyrus.
There you go.
Yeah,
okay.
Influencing the little girls out there.
Don't say that. That sounds like I'm a pedophile.
No.
Stop
not
saying
in that way.
People will chase us. Don't say that.
But that's a great idea.
Welcome to the show. And let me just quickly give a brief about you.
Yes.
As usual, we have got a huge research team behind us. We're not people who just turn up and do a show. If you look outside, not outside, but in the studio, you'll see 20 to 30 people. All of them are hospital staff. They have nothing to do with the show. I don't know why they're here, but they give me my medication from time to time.
They look like they're working hard.
They look like they all need stylists. So once you finish the show, you can go in there and work for a month.
I'm here.
Yeah. All right. I'll come to lots of questions actually about style, because this is a country which, believe me, we used to have a thing called Virodhi Shabd in Hindi class back in the day, and I got to tell you, India and style, I really think are opposite terms. Hina Oomer-Ahmed is an image consultant, curator, and a stylist. What the hell is a curator?
A curator just picks nice things, simply.
That sounds like the best job in the world.
It is. It actually is. I mean...
So you basically go pretty, ugly. Pretty, ugly. Something
exactly.
Like that.
So I'm a taste maker, and I guess my eye is what's important. And if I say it's good, then it better be good.
Okay, but here's the other part to it. It sounds like an easy profession, but you're trained at the FIT, Fashion Institute of Technology. Some say the biggest and the best place for fashion, and obviously on par with anything else in the world, because it's New York City. And you worked as a stylist and writer at Verve, styled several fashion and celebrity shoots for multiple publications. Okay, now that's your background. We'll go into that in a second.
Yes.
But first, just can you explain to us, what exactly does a stylist do?
So a stylist, nowadays it's not just limited to fashion. You can have a food stylist, you can have product stylist. So a stylist basically makes anything look good, whether it's a person, a room, a plate of food. So essentially it's adding that aesthetic value to something which we actually take for granted that everyone
people,
has.
like really old people, can you make them look good?
Everyone can look good.
No, that's not true. You've got to see my relatives. They just don't look good.
Send them to me.
Yeah, we all look away when they come into the room. We're all like, how are you, auntie? How are you? But nobody looks at them.
I don't think that can be true. I'm sure they have their own personal auntie style.
No, my auntie used to be my uncle. Mine is a very funny family. Be very careful what you say, Hina.
I would be a little nervous to style your family then, Cyrus.
Hina, let's get back now to your career. Come on, tell us more about yourself. So, you grew up in Mumbai?
Yes, I grew up in Mumbai. I went to JB Pettit School for
Wow.
girls.
By the way, one of my favorite schools.
Okay, thank you. My daughter goes there now.
I sound terrible.
Yeah,
44-year-old man saying, yes, girls' school in South Bombay, my favorite school.
Yeah, but it is a great school.
You had Shirin Darasha?
Yes,
she was superb, man.
She was amazing. She was a force to reckon with.
She had mighty arms.
She still is.
I remember that.
Yes, a mighty voice.
No, I'm trying to say because you're a stylist. So let's not run away from that.
Let's not run away from
She was a largish woman, no doubt. And one of the things is she had that authority like the old-fashioned principals used to have.
Of course. And a booming voice.
Booming, absolutely.
And larger-than-life presence.
Yeah.
And she wore her lovely saris. You know, she always wore saris. Even though she was such a large woman.
Yeah, some would say more than one sari. But no, that would be rude. That would be rude.
That would be. Yeah. You said it, I didn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was lovely and she had her own style and she carried
There's
on really well.
There's a whole generation of JB girls, I think, who swear by her.
Yes.
And in a sense, there's a whole generation of JB girls who are well-mannered, turned out really well. Most of them have done really well for themselves.
Yeah.
And also that whole, I won't say NGO, but social justification and awareness was brought in by her. Is that right?
Yeah, because she was a big believer in giving back. And, there was a lot of social consciousness and So in JB, we grew up in this entire environment where you never just thought about yourself and where you come from. It was always about thinking beyond that. So I think that was just inculcated so early in everybody that you just kind of carry it forward as you grow.
Yeah. So we used to rehearse plays there. That's how I know so much about JB in the evening.
Pearl, exactly. Who was another force to reckon with.
Taught you as well?
Yeah.
So we'll come to Pearl, but the funny thing is I broke a window because you used to play basketball in your basketball courtyard, waiting for the other actors to turn up.
Right.
And I broke the window throwing the ball, as you can well imagine, because I have no coordination. And that big basketball is much tougher than people think. It's a strong thing. And she was in the office because it was only like 5:30, and so she was still in the office on the first floor. She came running down like an athlete, like the young P.T. Usha. Yeah. And she caught me by my neck.
Oh my goodness.
She caught me. I was 18 years old and she held my neck in front of all these young girls who were in the play.
Amazing.
And she said, young man, how dare you?
Were you terrified?
I was terrified. I have not touched a basketball since. She's killed my desire for sports. That lady is responsible.
She's responsible.
No, but I must say that I've met lots of JV girls over the years and others, and they only have kind words for, there's some people who are just great influences.
Yes.
And she obviously was one.
She was.
But let's get back to you. This is not her show. Enough about her.
Yes.
By the way, how do you like her style? See, the saris, the great thing here is that you remember this person.
Yeah.
Because the saris, it suited her, her personality. So maybe in a way that was like, from a style point of view, bang on.
Yeah, exactly. Because at the end of the day, I mean, everyone has a personal style, and the whole idea behind an image consultant or fashion stylist is not to make someone look like someone else. So you just want to look like yourself, but just a better version. So I think a good image consultant will not try to change you and make you look like a model in a magazine, but to just kind of, smoothen the edges and make you a better version of.
And Hina, dare I say, because I have no idea of style, but dare I say that the sari is also probably an unsung soldier. It's done really well, and it has so much, because women look really sexy in saris. It covers women who are largish sometimes very well, and lets them look very dignified, etc. And it also gives a presence. So when she's a principal in the right sari, I think it's the right fit. It's the right marriage.
It is. I mean, a sari is one of the most versatile and I think forgiving pieces of clothing.
And
that
one
you
more
can
thing.
wear.
Taking out the sari takes so long, Hina. I want to tell you.
And you would know, Cyrus.
Yeah, and this is not because of women saris.
Yeah,
I had to wear saris myself.
Oh, really?
For certain
For
events.
what?
We think it was comedy. Nobody else did.
Okay, I see. Okay.
Yeah. What did you think? I got lucky all the time with really old ladies in
just thought you were
saris.
experimenting. I don't know.
It's the Sharma wedding.
Just-
Let me try my luck.
Just having fun.
No, nothing like that. Let's get back to you again. Moving away from the saris and the not so sorry beginning in JB Pettit.
Yes.
Was the young Hina thinking about fashion?
No, not at all. I really wasn't thinking of anything in particular. And then I went on to Ohio as a university. I studied international politics.
Wow.
Yes.
From where to where?
Yes, from where to where exactly.
You could have been a card-carrying member of the BJP.
Yeah, I could
That
have.
very just and fair party.
Yeah, but I think
What's wrong with that?
No, nothing wrong
Oh.
with that. But I just think that's what an American liberal arts education does for you. It makes you feel that you can do anything.
Well, what would you have done with that degree anyway? Jokes apart. What would you do next?
I actually did an internship at the United Nations.
Wow.
And I think that made me realize that I didn't
That
want
people are of different colors.
that people of different colors to begin with,
Yeah.
and that maybe that's really not what I really want to do. And I realized that I think I have a more creative side, and that I wanted to do something that focused much more on that.
But you're in Ohio at the moment. You're in America, which is like this hip culture in a very well-known college. So I'm sure you're surrounded by all these so-called hip and fashionable people. Was in your
Not
mind
Ohio. Ohio is not hip
No?
and fashionable. It's
Okay.
not New York City.
everything but Ohio? But
Everything but Ohio.
You're on the stage. You're
Yeah.
around beauty and
Of course.
so-called the waves of the next generation of culture, etc.
Yeah.
Did you get an idea that perhaps I'm going to go into fashion at that point, or it's not far from your mind?
No, I think fashion came to my mind when I moved to New York City. And New York is like just the streets are fashion runways. It's like everyone, it's not only just about being well dressed, everyone's so comfortable with
Even
their
the
own
drug
personal.
dealers are so impeccably turned out. Mm-hmm. Yeah, their kids are just perfect.
Perfect.
Yeah, the sweatpants matching, wristbands matching. How do I know? Story for another day.
I won't question you on
Please
that.
don't. So again, cutting to your story, you
Yeah.
were in Ohio, you get a job or an internship in the UN in New York.
Yeah.
And that's when you get an idea that perhaps fashion is your thing.
Fashion is my
But
thing.
you haven't joined NIFT. You haven't joined FIT. I'm
FIT,
calling
no.
it NIFT. What's wrong with me? This
Get yourself
globalization
into
is getting out of
trouble,
control.
Cyrus.
Yeah, oops.
So I think New York City just made me think that I wanted to do something much more creative and much more visual. So that's how FIT came about. And and then I enrolled myself into a course in image consulting, which even at that point I didn't know existed.
Where is
And,
this?
At FIT.
So you're doing image consulting as well as other things?
After I graduated from Ohio.
No, so after Ohio, you do image consultant in FIT?
Yeah.
But that's the only course you're doing, or the other courses as well?
No, it's a diploma in image consulting.
Oh, okay. All right. And that would allow you to do what? Public relations? What is the...
It makes you ready for anything in the fashion styling business.
Okay.
Literally. So then you can... So that's when I came back. Then I came back to India and I did fashion styling for work.
Don't run away to India.
Okay,
Stay
not
in
so
New
fast.
York. Yeah, that's
Okay,
fun.
okay.
So now you're at the Fashion Institute.
Yeah.
Tell us more that. See, I was in New York for a little while in my life in an acting studio.
Yeah.
And I went to a couple of parties which were organized by Indian friends of mine. But
Right.
that was the connection as usual. Desis, Indians, Pakistanis, our kind of people.
Yeah.
So you know how we tend to hang out. But the moment we leave, I've got this theory. We leave the subcontinent, we're always together.
Yes, exactly. You
My
can't
roommate
escape.
was a Pakistani called Wasim, and
Yeah.
we were like brothers in love, and I noticed that all the subcontinentals would hang out. So, but we went to these parties, and they were the most fantastic parties, and the most chic and the hottest women, and
Yes.
it was a place to be.
Yes.
So, I just want to know about tell us a little bit about that experience.
So I think, like you said, Desis stick together, and
Damn them.
they do. And I think, the closeness that you have, even with your friends when you're abroad, is very different. And I think New York in general was just a fabulous experience. It's better than any education or any diploma or any degree in the world, because it teaches you so much about people in general, all kinds, and the whole lifestyle, the New York City vibe. Even now when I watch shows that have New York City, or watch a movie in which
You get excited.
I get so excited.
I was there. I saw that street.
I feel something in my stomach,
do you?
and I can smell the coffee.
I thought I was the only one.
No,
especially the geography.
no.
I recognize geography. I get excited.
My heart rate goes up,
Yeah.
and then I can smell the subway.
But when I see the same Hindi film with Delhi streets, I get depressed. So why is that? Are we racist?
It's the New York effect.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's just, I think it's a part of my life that was
It really has a
so
nostalgic tug
incredible.
for everyone. Huh?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, and then when you meet people who've had similar experiences and who've been there on the same time, it's like you bond in a way that it's like nobody else exists and nobody else understands.
So,
that
Hina, did you do
New York-
drugs?
No.
Pause!
I
She
did not.
paused! Hina paused! Please play that again. You paused for 3 seconds. That's scary.
No,
Come on, you're at Fashion
Cyrus.
Institute. You didn't do anything. So you were a naughty girl or you were okay? What, tell us, come on.
No, I think I was fairly good.
You were
Yeah.
fairly well behaved.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's all relative, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And I can't push the question any further, so I'll just
Yes.
have to let it go.
Yes,
But I did
you'll
a
have to
slight
let it go.
pause, which could have been because you were just taken aback by the
You
question.
can take it as whatever you want,
Yeah,
Cyrus.
yeah. And drugs are bad, and we on the podcast say you shouldn't take them, even if they're discounted, and even if somebody else is taking them with you, and even if you don't have to pay for them, and even if it's like a private party at Alibag and nobody will ever find out. But don't do it. Don't do it. Stick to Crosin.
Oh.
No, I'm really.
Good you said it all.
I'm anti-drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah, shit in Darasha, man. She taught us well. Come on. The spirit is
really-
there.
yeah.
So tell us. So those are the parties and stuff. And so, what kind of education do you actually get there? Tell us what the whole deal is. What do you get out of the whole experience?
At FIT. So FIT is it's very interactive. What they do is bring in a lot of people who are in the business of fashion, and they are the ones who teach you. And it's a lot of practical knowledge. It's a lot of hands-on styling. So it's not theoretical at all. It's just everything you need to know about the business of fashion from people who actually live it. So that's the beauty of FIT. So a lot of the professors are actually working professionals. So you're literally exposed to this entire industry.
When you say working professionals, they're out there earning money as designers
A
themselves.
lot of them, they're like in the business, literally, or have been for many years and now choose to teach. But what I mean to say is that it's not just professors who say have never done it but have just studied it theoretically. You know, so you're actually learning from people who've lived this, who've done it for so many years. So the wealth of experience is completely different.
And the kind of people around you in the class, are they all...
It's a total melting pot. Like literally, there are people from all over the world and people who have been just inspired by fashion from wherever they come from if it's South America, Korea, China, from wherever.
Okay.
And
Sorry, no, I just want to ask you a slightly misguided question.
Yeah.
Are there any straight fashion designers? Oh, just kidding.
Very few.
Very few, is it? Yeah.
I think
No,
so.
is it very competitive? Because now you've reached finally people who are in this business, or rather, they find their own clan, their own tribe, so to speak, which perhaps in the conventional world out there, they won't appreciate it so much because nobody understands the niche of fashion,
Yeah.
the kind of middle class background most of us have. And then suddenly they're here amongst their peers and they can express themselves more. So is it a very bitchy environment, a very competitive environment, because now they're amongst their own people and they can really come out?
Not really at the school or the university level, just because when people come to study fashion, they study so many different things. So you can be studying to become a designer, you can be studying to become a fashion merchandiser, you can be studying to being a stylist. So you're not all really pitted against one another. Like there's space for everyone within that industry. So maybe when you filter down to like the media level or, within a design house, I'm sure that it's the competition and then the feelings are different, but not at the learning level.
Who's better, males or females? Is this a question you can actually answer? Is there like a type? Would you say that females are more intuitive for fashion and design?
No, I think it's a very personal, it's a talent like anything else.
So fashion knows no gender.
Yes.
That's our
fashion knows
point,
no
ladies and
gender.
gentlemen. Hum sab ek hai. Fashion knows no gender.
Correct.
And that's why the bikini was invented for both bodies. I've been saying that. Indian men, wear your little tops. Wear your little tops. Yeah, cover as much as you can. My whole thing is Indian women shouldn't cover and men should cover everything. I don't know if I'm wrong.
That's
but
an interesting theory.
Yeah, please think about it
Yeah,
and put it
I
out
will.
there.
I will.
All right, let's fast forward now a little bit. So you do your, 2-year course?
Yeah.
2-year course. Now you're full of ideas, I suppose, and confidence because you've been in the business for some time. Do you make a decision to stay there?
Yes, I stayed there for a couple of years because I was married and my husband was working, and we just decided that.
So what was your husband doing at the same time?
He was working in finance.
Okay. And obviously he was very keen for you to have a career as well.
Yes.
And you would practice on him?
No.
When I say practice on him, all I'm trying to
Just
say is...
free advice.
Yeah, free advice.
Yes.
This shirt goes with that pant.
Yeah.
Again, a very hit culture, I'm presuming. Yeah.
Yes.
So you worked there?
I worked there for a couple of years.
With?
And with a boutique PR company that did fashion. And then we moved back.
Okay. So now we'll come
now
back.
we're in India.
We'll come back to the second part of your story. We'll take a quick break.
Yes.
And we'll come back to you in India, how you grew, how you became successful, famous, clients you've had, and stories and gossip and things that you've never shared before. Including the private lives of some of the celebrities who live here in Bandra Khar area. Yes, we're talking about you dirty film stars and your naughty tales of late night drinking parties and then jumping on other people's wives. Hina, how can this happen in our culture?
I don't know,
I'm
Cyrus. You
shocked.
tell me.
I don't know myself. I've been in Nepal last 2 years. All right, take a break, then we'll come back.
Hello there, my name is Naveen Narona, and as a gay person in India, I get asked a lot of stupid questions.
Beta, is it LGBT or eligibility?
How do two men procreate?
Bro, is Grindr better than Tinder or what?
We answer all these questions and much more on my podcast, Keeping It Queer, where I talk to individuals from the LGBT community in India and learn about their personal stories. Catch new episodes of Keeping It Queer every Monday on Audioboom, iTunes Global, SoundCloud, YouTube, or generally any of the podcasting apps. In fact, you can now download the IVM podcast app and listen to it. Happy listening.
All right, back here on Cyrus Says with Hina Oomer-Ahmed, and she insists we keep the middle name as well because that's her family name, the name she was born with, which would make me Cyrus Brocha Munani. And who knows, with some luck.
It has a nice ring to it.
Yeah, I like my wife's surname better because it sounds Italian.
Yeah.
Although it's Kachi. But you know, one person's tomatoes, another person's tomato.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, let's get back to the Hina story. She's a Film Institute graduate. She actually left a political career in international politics for some reason. That was her first idea, but then thankfully left that, went to the Fashion Institute world, worked in New York, which is the now perhaps one of the three big cities of fashion. If you count Bhayandar and Baikala as well. And then comes back to Mumbai with her husband and starts from scratch.
Yes.
And that's what we're going to get into right now. Hina, you're back in Mumbai. What's your plan?
So my plan is actually to pursue image consulting. But at the time that I came back, I didn't think there was a market for it. And so I got into fashion styling. I started working for Verve in the fashion department, and it was all about styling shoots, editorial shoots, celebrity shoots.
Verve is the Mahindra family magazine
Yes,
thing, no?
it is.
Yeah.
It is. Yes.
And so basically now you're doing those photo shoots and things like that,
Yeah.
where whoever's on, you sort of style them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's
Can I complain?
yeah,
Because
sure.
I've done a couple of these shoots. I
course.
find that sometimes I think of you as dead bodies.
Okay.
Because the photographer and the stylist come and they have a conversation like you're a corpse.
Yes.
So they'll point at the hair and poke the head. So you see it's flat on this end. Now I want to cover this a little bit more. So how can I do that? And you see he's balding at the back here. So you can make sure the top angle doesn't. And they just absolutely ignore the person.
You're just an
But
object,
we have feelings.
right? You're just an object.
Yes. Hina, we have feelings.
I will give that feedback
Please do.
to other stylists
Especially
and
the failing
magazines.
actors like us. It's okay for the big ones. You can do that to Salman. He won't even listen to you. But what about the others?
Yes,
You're very
that's
insecure.
good feedback. I think they're so obsessed with getting a good shot that they forget the person who's being shot, and they just looked like.
So how did you
an
handle all
object.
these models? I'm sure there must have been different kind of personalities you had
Yes,
to deal
there
with.
are lots of different personalities. Some are easier to work with than others, of course.
Do they take offense? I would suppose some will think they know more about fashion than you.
A lot of them do. They feel like their style is the best. They're never happy with what you get them in terms of options. Then you have to scramble, run back and get them more options. And they feel they know their angles and they know what works best. But I think part of the job, styling is less about the clothes you make them wear and more about managing people, managing the photographer's expectations, managing the celebrity, managing a makeup
There's also
artist.
the perception reality issue.
Yeah.
I think on a personal level, I have one sense of myself.
Yes.
And then you as a stylist are more objective because you can see it from outside.
Exactly,
And I may wear
exactly.
what I think is a really tight white shirt, which
Yeah.
I think makes me look like
Yeah.
young Marlon Brando, but actually makes me look like Sridevi in the last couple of years, which is fantastic, by the way.
Yes.
Wouldn't that be a big issue? Because especially with the big egos that you're dealing
It
with.
is, it
and they're
is.
fixed in their ideas.
They
Their
are.
chamchas tell them certain things.
Yeah. I think the managers and the publicists are also a problem because they, of course, keep, feeding different inputs.
And they interfere.
They interfere. Of course, they interfere. But then that's part of that's how this whole thing works, I think. And you have to accept it and work with it. And then also you have to realize what looks good on a person in person doesn't really work in a shot.
Correct.
So then it's the lighting and it's the angles and the makeup and the photographer not being happy with what they're getting. So actually a shoot is less about clothes and just more about all these, having these big egos in the room and all these people who ultimately have to agree that a shot works.
And,
so I think it's more people management than fashion style.
And is the photographer your friend or enemy in this?
It depends. It could go either way.
It could lean out this way or the other way.
It could go either ways.
So any experiences that stick out in your head when you just come back? And would you say New York was different from Mumbai, or it's all the same?
New York is very different. New York is much more structured. It's more organized. Bombay is Bombay in every other way. You start a shoot in the morning and, it's July and suddenly where you are, the studio is flooded.
Superb.
And 5 people haven't showed up.
That's
and
my Bombay.
Somebody is stuck in a traffic jam.
Yes.
The makeup artist doesn't show. The model is sick.
She's drunk too much last
Bombay.
night.
Yeah, it's
lovely.
Bombay. Yeah,
it's
and
fantastic.
that's, you deal with those issues, you deal with your Bombay
And
issues.
people think the styling business is easy. Oh, put on clothes and come.
Yeah, and they think it's
so much
glamorous,
more.
and it's anything but glamorous.
All you hear is bitching, complaining, unhappy, insecure, and if you dare bring their confidence down, you're finished.
Yeah.
So you can't even do that.
And then of course the other part is, you take the garments from designers and stores, and then they get damaged or they get a stain, and it's...
Oh, I gotta tell you, I'm one of those mean people.
Oh, you
because
are?
We used to do the show called Loveline on MTV, and we used to get the shirts from one store in Bandra, and they would keep sending us bills because there was sweat in the
You're
armpits.
constantly damaged and stained.
100%. I'm an Indian male in terrible studio conditions,
Yes.
always sweating.
Yeah.
I drop everything. I breastfed too long, so I have very poor dexterity with my lips. So things fall from chai, coffee,
Yes.
everything.
Yes.
So I can imagine.
So
we had this girl called Sabrina who used to do our thing, and she used to complain all the time.
Yeah.
20% of the stuff should be charged for.
It must have been a nightmare for her.
Absolute nightmare, because like you said, the
She would
conditions are much more difficult than people think.
Yeah,
You just turn
it
up
is.
AC,
Yeah.
put 2 shirts on a model, and your job's done.
So
It's not that.
nothing on a shoot goes the way it's supposed to. So the night before, you think you're on top of everything and everything is done and everything's locked in and you're super organized. You think nothing will go wrong. And then that morning you'll get one call and something will always go wrong.
Okay, let's now move from going wrong to going right, because now you're going up in the business. You want to do more image consulting, which I presume is now dealing with big celebrities and making them into bigger brands and all that, right?
No, image consulting is more about working with real people.
So wrong. Could you just say wrong? What is real people? And that's so mean. Are you saying our lovely
people
film
with-
stars?
what I mean is a celebrity in a magazine is very, like you're saying, the perception and reality is very different. They look completely different when they're styled and with the right light and
So what
photography.
you're trying to, let's tell the truth out there. The celebrities are really ugly people. They're monsters. And only with the right lighting and with the right kind of correction and photoshopping, we can get them into some sort of decent
Cyrus,
frame.
I didn't say that. You said that. I am saying that they look much better when it's
From far away,
all done.
when they're in another country, when you see them in the dark. Okay, so tell us a little bit about, so who are the real people? Are we talking about
corporates, young mothers, women with
So
careers.
what does that entail? I'm actually not able to understand. So what are you trying to reinvent them?
No, we're not trying to reinvent them. It's essentially working with... So a lot of women go through phases where they feel like they're stuck in a style rut, or sometimes your body changes over a period of time, and you have the same...
That's not just women, huh?
Yeah, but I work with women, so specifically talking about them, and they have the same stores that they keep visiting, or the same designers, and then they wear the same kinds of clothes. So essentially women are wearing the same thing when they're 35 as when they were 20, not realizing that their body has changed, their styles have evolved. So essentially working with them to see the difference, the changes they can make in terms of how they perceive themselves and the clothes they wear. So it starts with a wardrobe edit where you literally get rid of all the things that don't work.
This is a reality check, actually. I had a girlfriend who used to wear her 9 standard uniform right up to her late 30s.
What?
Yeah. It was very scary. It took us 20 minutes to take the clothes off and another 40 to put them on.
That seems more like a
wasn't the bad
psychological
part.
problem than a style rut.
She made me wear her 8 standard uniforms.
That's something else, Cyrus. This
Weird
is not a
relationship.
style rut.
Yeah.
Something else we're talking
so,
about.
But what you're saying is actually true. I've seen a lot of middle-aged women, maybe that's not the right word, women as they age, clinging to a certain young sort of outfit.
Image.
You just see those jeans are wrong. You can see immediately they're not fitting. Because the body type has changed. They've become more woman, so to speak, and less girl. But they still want to cling to girl. Is that, I see that all the time, actually.
Exactly. So that's essentially what it is. So it starts with the realization that...
So you're like a coach.
Yeah. It's kind
No,
of like
literally,
a
you're
fashion coach.
You've got to, actually take them to the whole changes that are happening, and clothes are just
Exactly.
part of that.
Exactly. And it works similarly with women in a corporate environment where they feel like maybe they don't have the right wardrobe for the profession they are in. They don't know how, because in India we don't really have a dress code for working. It's
Except
not
for
always
waiters and police. These are the two
Exactly.
people who haven't changed, but you're right.
Exactly. So then it's, depending on what industry you are in, we find things that are appropriate to wear to work, but yet that are stylish and presentable.
But this mini industry did not exist. This image consulting of helping people
Yes.
understand the changes. And
It's
how
fairly
to-
new.
Yeah, it's fairly new. So
Yeah.
you're almost like a pioneer?
Well, I don't know, because I keep reading about image consulting institutes that exist in India. I don't really know
They backdate them. Everybody backdates them to get some
I
points.
really don't know what kind of work they do and how long they've been here. But it's also kind of like an industry where everyone doesn't talk about it, right? So everyone doesn't want to admit that
It's like the government. It's there, but nobody knows where.
nobody knows where
Yeah.
exactly. So it's kind of some people talk about it. Some people are comfortable enough saying that I got someone to help me out, because a lot of my clients come to me and tell me that somebody walked up to them and said, suddenly I noticed that you've been looking very different, and you've been looking really nice, and where did you get this from, and where did you get that from? And some of them just say, oh, I just went on a shopping trip, and some actually give my number and say,
So your clients are basically ads for yourself.
Exactly.
Because people see the confidence change,
Yeah.
the happiness, sometimes perhaps the success that goes with
Exactly.
it. And immediately say, okay, what's happened to you? Can you
Exactly.
tell me? Then you say, okay, I met Hina.
Exactly.
Hina did a magic thing and
Yeah.
this is what I look like.
So that's the only way my marketing works.
Have you worked with Falguni Pathak?
No,
Why are you laughing? She's a lovely girl.
I'm sure.
Hina,
I have,
no.
I
Just
have
kidding.
not worked with her.
Just kidding. All right, let's go back in time again. So, Verve, you're doing these shoots. Now, these are those mundane shoots. Sometimes they're very boring, etc.
Yeah.
And you have to deal with egos, as you said.
Yeah.
Then you make the shift. How do you make the shift from there?
So the shift from there happened. I was with Verve for a couple of years. Then I had my daughter. So I quit Verve, and I took a break for about 6 months. Then I was freelancing for various magazines. Then I had my son, and that's when I stopped
freelancing
shooting.
the style, you're still doing the shoots.
Still shoots,
The styling
but,
and shooting.
as a freelance stylist for different magazines. So I was not, on a payroll and not shooting through the month. So I could pick my projects.
So any big stars you worked with there?
Yeah, a bunch.
Can you name some and the experiences and tell us how bad they were? Rate them 1 to 10.
I don't think I'll name them because.
Oh, name them.
No.
Okay, name the good ones. Name the good experiences. There's not even one.
Shilpa Shetty was lovely.
Shilpa Shetty. Just save the day.
She
Yeah.
was really nice. Rani Mukherjee was
So
lovely.
these two don't interfere. They let you have your way.
Yeah, they
Or
were.
they interfere in a nice way.
No, not in a nice way. They pretty much let the stylists do their job. I mean,
they're
of course,
secure.
their input is always welcome. But they would not, enforce their ideas on the stylist. They were fairly flexible, which is all you're really looking for. You're just looking
So
for them.
these are the two best, boring. Who are the two worst?
I don't think I should.
Okay,
say.
I'll tell you what, we'll play a game. I'll just say the names and you cough. If you
No,
cough,
no,
if you
no.
cough more than once, it'll mean that yes. And if you cough just little, we're not sure. Okay, so you go like like that. Okay, I'll take the names. Kajal.
You're evil, Cyrus.
No, come on.
Evil.
I got to remember names here. Preeti Zinta.
I didn't work with them.
No. Damn. Can you name the girls so I can rename them and then you can cough?
No.
Please.
No, Cyrus.
One.
No.
Who's the worst behaved? Somebody threw a tantrum. Come on. Anybody walk out?
No, not walk out, but
Cry? Break down? Throw things? Beat up their
No,
publicist?
they're just difficult. Some of them are just difficult.
One name? Nobody listens to our podcast. Come on. Please.
No, let's avoid
Half a
that.
name?
Let's avoid that.
The mother's name of the person?
Mother's name, I don't even know the mother's name.
Oh, damn it. One syllable?
No, you'll get me into trouble, Cyrus.
Okay. Any young girls? From this generation, the Alia Bhatt generation?
No, not that young. No.
No? Or any really old actresses from the 80s and 90s?
Yeah, a couple.
Madhuri?
No.
So we got one cough on Kajal, and that's all we got after all our hard work and research. Damn us! All right, okay. Let's move on now. So you've done the shoots. You've had the two children. You've taken a break for a little while. You're not quite sure what to do, and then how does the change happen towards image consulting?
So the change happens in the sense that we are talking about a few years went by, and then I think India just changed a lot in terms of
Sridevi.
the brands that came in.
Well, feel free to cough in between.
I thought we moved on,
We did,
Cyrus.
but if I remember name, I'll say it.
I'm not saying anything.
So India has moved on. You're
India's
hitting
moved
this
on. There are a lot
global-
more brands. Fashion is a lot more mainstream. Yeah. People are much more conscious about how they're looking, how they're dressing. So I just thought that it would be the right time to start again. And so it's just kind of a word of mouth thing. I started with a couple of clients, and then it just grew from there very organically.
Okay, so now just tell us a little bit about what you're doing right now. I've got a list of stuff. You're going to launch workshops for women called the Life Edit. Is that one of the things?
Yes. So that's something that I'm working on with a friend. I have a friend who's she's a life coach. She specializes in nutrition. So what we wanted to do is put together.
Urmila!
No.
Damn.
So we wanted to put together a quick workshop for women who maybe don't have time to do an individual consult. And so it'll be a quick, 4-hour workshop.
Priyanka Chopra!
No.
There's someone in the middle generation.
No.
And I'm listening to the whole
You're
Life
still
Edit
stuck
thing.
on that?
I just want to get more coughs. We've only got
I'll tell you at
Kajal.
the end of the show.
Promise?
Yes.
You'll give me 2 names. If you give me 2
Not
names, I'll
2
keep
names,
quiet.
1 name.
1 name for sure.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, stay for the whole show. Whatever happens. The Live Edit is a lovely part of the show, but coming soon, the main part, which is who is the worst behaved Bollywood actress. Yeah. So, sorry, I interrupted your whole flow. Live Edit.
So Life Edit. So it's a quick workshop which, looks at literally your wardrobe in your kitchen and tells you what you're doing right and wrong.
What if you cook naked, for example? I'm just putting it out there again.
Good for you.
Which would mean you don't have a wardrobe.
Well, you
for the
do have a
kitchen.
wardrobe. You're not using it.
Okay. I'm just being a difficult customer. I will be replacing the woman you haven't mentioned yet as your worst customer ever.
So, so that's essentially what it is. It looks at your
But when you
kitchen
say
and your
workshop, what does that mean?
a workshop, it's just an interactive session about what you do, what
So it's just a one session?
Yeah, it's a one session. It's like a 4-hour session where we go over you say, what is it that you normally wear? What would you
So
wear
you
to work?
personalize their style in a 4-hour workshop
Yeah,
sort
and
of
give
thing.
them some basic tools essentially and some basic knowledge that they can use to incorporate in their daily life to make those changes. So it's a life edit. We're not trying to change anyone's life or lifestyle. We're just going to teach them a few basic tools that they can use that could really change things around for them.
So what are the biggest fashion mistakes Indian women make? Tell us.
Overdress.
Yeah, overdress.
Yes.
As in
too
wear
many
too many-
accessories.
Yeah, why do they do that?
I don't know. They find some comfort. I think they feel that the more they wear, that it's going to look.
Can I tell you my
better.
complaint?
Yes.
Indian women, I have observed, always wear the wrong size jeans.
Yes.
They always seem to wear ones which are too big.
Big, ill-fitting.
Why? They don't believe in themselves. It's all the men's fault for not seeing the
Why
right
is it the
things.
men's fault? Is the
Because the men
women's
say how
fault?
pretty women look, then they'll have more confidence to wear the right outfits. I do feel they're insecure a little bit about their figures and hence go for
Maybe.
the option of let's not, let's
Yes.
go for big.
Yes.
That's my theory.
But I also think that maybe the typical Indian body is maybe not
Different, yeah.
jeans is not the right thing for the
What?
Indian body. Maybe. I don't
Indian
know. It
women,
depends.
no jeans. Damn you.
It doesn't apply to everybody.
You New Yorkers, racist, I tell you. Indian women, you cannot wear jeans. You're too dumpy. Come here, wear shawl.
I never said dumpy.
Okay. No,
But-
but I think you have something there. I think the body
Yeah.
types are different.
I think you have to
localize.
embrace your body type,
Or rather
work
make
with it.
jeans that work for our body types.
Exactly. And I think it's not just the jeans, it's what you wear along with it, it's the shoes you wear, it's everything, it's the whole package. It's
Do you
not
think
just
Bollywood
about
has
the
screwed up
jeans.
our sense of style? Sometimes in middle class India, you see really strange, outfits and all, and you think, oh God, Salman, what have you done? Or, oh God,
Yeah.
Govinda, what have you done? I mean,
Yes.
Yeah?
But I think in the last 10 years, I think Bollywood, or last 5 years, I think with
Is
all the
much more.
stylists coming
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
and taking over, I think Bollywood is
It's more
looking
sophisticated
fabulous.
now,
Yes.
definitely.
And they
You look
follow
at a
international trends.
80s film and now there's a huge difference.
There's a huge difference,
Yeah.
exactly. So I don't think we can blame Bollywood anymore for bad style. I think in fact they're doing fabulously. So
Okay, what is the worst accessory for Indian women? The one that they should probably wear least or take on.
worst accessory.
I also find sunglasses to be all types and shapes.
Yeah, sunglasses are a little dicey because everyone doesn't realize what suits their
Their face, yeah.
and what doesn't. So I think, maybe sunglasses would be one of them. Bags as well, I think. Indian women, I mean, some have mastered the art of bags and, what to carry when.
And some look like bags. Come on. You're not sure which one is the bag. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh.
Yes. And then, I think it's more the whole look together. I always say less is more in terms of the less you accessorize.
So we overanalyze is what you're saying.
We overanalyze and over-accessorize.
See, I worked with this one VJ, for example, I won't take her name, who would spend 2 hours doing makeup. Very pretty girl. But would spend 2 hours doing makeup.
Yeah.
And they would look exactly the same. Hair, makeup, again 2 hours, again come out. There would be no change. We'd all look at each other. But just there seems to be this big insecurity amongst a lot of women in our upper middle class society in urban India.
Yeah.
But I just feel that they do that. They spend a lot of time and then nothing really happens.
Because maybe they're not working on the right things.
But they still are insecure. They need to put in 2 hours before they come out.
Yeah. Because they're probably not comfortable with the way they look in terms of, I think a lot of times you can't strive for perfection. You just have to embrace what your body is and what your face is and just work with it.
This is sounding too much like self-love. I've been embracing my body since the age of 14, alone. Let me tell you, it's a sad experience. Pathetic, in fact. Yeah. But what you're saying, I think, is really, a lot of us, men and women, I think, aspire to be somebody else.
Yes.
I think half the problem you must be facing is that people don't know who they are. And want to be somebody else.
Exactly.
And then are very upset that they aren't somebody else. And you have to get them to understand you don't need to wear that and be that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're not out to look like a Bollywood actress or like a model. You just want to look like yourself, but if you can carry yourself so much better.
Otherwise, two men will hold you up and you're in society and make sure you prop against the wall.
Exactly.
Men, Indian men, what about us? What do we, what do you, are pants too high? Be honest.
I think Indian men are a little behind Indian women in the style curve. I think they need to figure out where they really stand. I mean, they're not, I mean, either they're too bohemian and too grungy in the look, or they're too proper.
Too formal.
Yeah, too formal, too proper. That I think that the Indian casual.
But why can't you be both?
You can, but there has to be you have to find that midpoint, right? I think Indian men really need to figure out their smart casual look.
But we don't look good in shorts. Is that what you're trying to say?
No, I think you do, but it depends how you style it, what footwear you wear.
Okay, how would you style me? I'll give you a tough question. Someone like me.
For some reason, I thought I knew you were going to ask me that.
Did I tell you before?
How would I style you? But for a formal look or for a casual look?
For a normal
look. Casual is I think this is your look.
Casual, yeah.
Yeah, this is your look. So I think formal.
If I change underwear, I think casual will work. The rest is all fine. You didn't need to know that, Hina. Moving on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Information overdose. Formal, I think a nice 3-piece suit.
Yeah, I like 3-piece suits. I look like Amitabh Bachchan in the movie
in
Naseem.
A grey, in a lovely steel grey.
Steel grey? Oh,
pink
nice.
tie.
You see, Hina appreciates me, boys. You don't appreciate me. 3-piece suit. Not the usual swimsuit and turn around and show us your walk. I hate that when they do that. Yeah. Okay, let's look at a few politicians. How would you style Rahul Gandhi? Is he the most stylish that we have? He's decently.
Yeah, he's very
he's
well
good looking
put together.
man, and he's
good
dapper.
looking. Yeah,
there's no doubt about that.
Yeah,
I don't want to mention some of the others.
And he wears his kurtas very well.
Yeah.
So I totally think that's his look. His kurtas,
Shashi
his
Tharoor,
look.
another one who carries himself well.
Very well.
He marries his image to his look.
Perfectly.
From his hair downwards.
And the hair, the hair is always perfect.
So if you were to do image consulting for these two, you'd be okay with their look.
There wouldn't be much for me to do.
There wouldn't be much for you to do.
Yeah.
Who would we have to work on?
Lots.
Huh?
There are many.
Huh? What about the Prime Minister?
Oh. Actually, I think the Prime Minister is very well put together himself.
Your voice became softer. Don't worry, they can't hear us.
They
can't reach us. We're in Atlanta. We're safe.
I was thinking.
Oh.
Well, he does a great job as well. I think Indian men wearing Indian do a great job.
Once you get into the ethnic wear, you're safe, is what you're saying.
Ethnic wear is, I think.
What do people like Virat Kohli? Does he look good to you outside the cricket field?
Yeah, he's very well
Lots
put together.
Lots of accessories.
Casual,
always.
But very,
But there's something on the wrist, there's bling all over the place, there's lots of stuff around the neck.
But that's his style, that's who he is.
There's a half
Goes
John
with
Abraham
the tattoos.
Look. The tattoos.
And his whole, that's his look, that's his style.
Dhoni? Oh, the pause. Again, the pause. The pause gives you away. It's like the drug thing. Yeah.
Dhoni is very simple. I don't think he...
Well, he may be simple, but he's tried different looks, and his look outside the cricket field again is...
Yeah, but he's not as impactful as a Virat.
Yeah, he's perhaps more rock star-y as Virat.
Virat, yeah.
All right. Film stars, who's the most fashionable guy?
Fashionable
Indian male. Who's the guy you'll say, okay, this guy's good?
Fashionable...
Where your work will be least, as we said with Rahul and Shashi Tharoor. Would it be maybe...
Ranveer Singh?
Ranveer Singh? I always thought he looks like another Bandra boy on a skateboard who's going to, die in front of the rickshaw.
No, but I think he's very comfortable with his
the
fashion.
Skateboard.
With his fashion.
Being himself.
With being himself. He can carry off anything.
I thought John and Salman would be the two who, sort of carry off things. No?
No. I think
you're not a fan?
No, I am. I'm a huge Salman Khan fan, actually. But Salman has his, he has his look, his being human look.
Clothes, yeah.
His t-shirt and jeans.
As long as he doesn't say anything, all good. Shah Rukh?
Shah Rukh has a great sense of
style.
He
also likes his bling. He has a few things on his hands
bling,
and all.
Yeah, and he does formal very well when he does. And Hrithik is good. He carries off everything really well. Mm-hmm. Everything looks good on that body. So.
Wow, Hina, you're suddenly a little depraved now. How can you say that to an old man like me? Everything looks good on that body. Hrithik, run away from here. Huh. So Ranveer out of the younger ones and Hrithik out of the generation before that.
I think so.
And before we let you go, Hina, who is the one woman in Bollywood who really was the worst experience for you? Because you were dying to tell us, and I thought
I was not dying to tell you.
But maybe they're nice people. They just had a bad day. So let's go with that.
Yeah.
So who was that one person, please?
Katrina Kaif.
Katrina! I knew it! Was, guys, I told you it was Katrina. That woman doesn't know her behavior. And she walked
You've had a bad experience too?
No, I'm just trying to charav you. So did she walk off the shoot?
No, she didn't walk off. She was just difficult.
And how did it end? Did she get away?
Yeah, I mean, it ended. It's just that it was not a very nice atmosphere on the set.
Are you all friends?
No.
Okay. Okay. When we interview Katrina, we'll play this link for her and get her reaction.
Yes.
But Hina, before we let you go, what's happening now in your life? Where are you right now?
Right now, I'm looking to grow the image consulting business and go forward with the workshops, the life edit workshops. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm excited about.
And do you think Indian fashion is perched on a sort of, just like India is in a sense in terms of global power, perched to really take off? And because you do notice in the last 5 years everybody's interested in their look.
Yes.
When perhaps growing up that wasn't the case.
It wasn't at all. And I think with all the brands coming in, high street brands, luxury brands, as well as the amount of social media and people being so conscious about how they look, how they photograph, I think it's huge. Everyone's looking to look like a better version of themselves. They're all very fashion conscious. So I think we're going to have much more change in the next 5 years.
How far are we from New York, Paris?
Quite far.
Get that pause. The pause has been the best part of the show. That pause just tells us everything.
Quite far.
Okay, listen, you've been wonderful, Hina, and all the best to you, and I'm sure we'll hear lots more from you.
Thank
you.
But
before we let you go, we have this gentleman called Amit who will come in and do a little question-answer session with us for 5 minutes. He's a therapist. Lovely guy, dresses atrociously. Typical Indian male.
If you have any questions for Cyrus, write to us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Or you can send an email to whatcyrussays@gmail.com.
Yes, and on the subject of good-looking politicians, you were telling us Venkaiah Naidu is the fashion guru for you, Amit. So tell us more. He's lost a lot of weight, by the way.
Oh, Venkaiah Naidu?
No, I think Indian politicians, Hina, quickly before we get into the questions, have really worked on their look in the last few years.
Yeah, I think that's true.
If you go back to the 80s and 90s, they were all in white and they look like, bad versions of Jitendra. Yeah. But they've moved on from there.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
Yeah, they match, they mix, they're careful about their look.
It's actually really well segues into our first question.
Which is?
What do you think of the cabinet reshuffle?
Hina, cabinet reshuffle. One of the greatest Iranis of India has been demoted from HRD. HRD to textile. I think you should answer that. Because
necessary. Necessary.
Yeah. I mean, it's mostly...
Look, if you're a cricketer, you don't perform, you get dropped.
Yeah.
If you're in the fashion business, you're not delivering, they use somebody else.
Yeah.
For all of us, it's the same thing. Why should it be different for them?
Action and consequence.
I agree. No, I think it's generally good also. I like the fact that they split the telecom and IT ministry. I guess not that many people care about that.
Yeah, but because Arun Jaitley losing the IT thing was a little, worrisome for me. They took it away from him.
Ravi Shankar Prasad.
IT was with Arun Jaitley.
No, Arun Jaitley.
Yeah, he held two portfolios,
INB,
finance and... Oh, sorry, INB. You're right.
INB.
I stand corrected. Hina.
Wrong,
I'm a
Cyrus,
fashion
wrong.
person.
Yeah, so they put Venkaiah Naidu in INB.
Yeah.
Instead of Arun Jaitley.
So what are you saying? He's South Indian, so INB is safe? You guys in the stereotypes, man.
I feel
really.
it's going to be kind of interesting, right? Because, I mean, Arun Jaitley is a little more of a progressive voice in that space than
Now see,
Venkaiah Naidu is.
you're being what I call class racist because you identify with Arun Jaitley since he's like our type of guy and
no, it's not that at all, right?
Same,
I mean, like,
this is it. I'm telling you, it's the whole theory. Who you identify with, you're sort of okay with.
So within the BJP, we're talking about the general sense of reactionary, just generally, right? Within that reactionary spectrum, Arun Jaitley is probably as progressive as it gets,
Yes,
right?
that's true.
100%.
So then, wouldn't we rather have someone like that in the IMB
Yeah.
Hence
ministry,
my point.
as opposed to Venkaiah Naidu,
Which
who
in a
is
sense,
again not
it's again a sort of a reverse racism thing where you always want your own people.
well, obviously, I want somebody progressive. It's not a class issue. It's
No, it is. I'm telling you, in our case, it doesn't
it's a
become about caste and community. It becomes about class. It becomes
I feel like
people that you can relate
I
to.
get,
Let's include
Nothing
Hina in
wrong
this.
with that.
no?
No, I
Yeah.
agree with him.
Yeah.
I totally agree with him.
Yeah, I think it's about time politicians are caught with their pants down in a sense.
Yeah.
You know, if they don't perform, you got 5 years. You give us some results.
Yeah.
Everybody can't say it'll happen. It'll happen. The best thing is,
but it
"Achhe
needs
din
to-
aayenge." You can't just get away with that,
It
man.
needs to, these things need to happen. These things. So the one thing I'm glad is the one minister who, even though, like, on that progressive scale, I'm not that great on, I think he has performed phenomenally well is Gadkari, and they haven't messed with him, which I think is
Surface and transport.
So, dude, roads, man.
But it is a funny title.
It is a funny It is a funny title, but the amount of roads that he's putting on the
Listen,
screen.
he's responsible for killing all the Neil guys, alright? They cull them.
Okay,
And,
I don't know what the
in-
Neil guys are.
Well, the farmers complain about the Neil guys eating the crops, etc., in central India,
right,
the Pradesh region, and they just went and culled them, and they found some arbitrary law to do that.
Okay.
So I don't want any animals culled in this country.
Well, no, I understand
Human
that.
beings, okay, but animals,
no,
we
it's
draw
not
the
the
line.
animal. I
That's
get
your
that,
stand
but-
for today, huh?
That's my stand.
But then we need
That's
the
my
roads,
fashion.
don't we? We also do need the roads. So he's putting those roads down, man. I mean, like, which is, I think, a difficult thing to do in this country.
He's also
too,
lost
right?
28 kilos.
I've heard
Oh.
that as well. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so again, coming back to you, see, this wouldn't have happened 40 years ago. They wouldn't give a damn. Once a person's in power, he's in power. He probably wouldn't brush his teeth
That's true.
for 5 years.
That is
But
true.
now they're very careful the way they turned out and their look and their weight factor amongst... And I think that percolates all the way down
No,
in
but that's
society.
image consulting, right? I mean, like, the image matters for a
Would you
politician.
would you take on a role if somebody in power wanted you to be the image consultant for the entire party? Let's say Congress wanted to revamp. Would you do that? That's a huge thing to do.
Would you
It's a
make them
huge
stop
thing.
the dhoti kurta stuff? I guess that's
Yeah,
the
because
first
Not
maybe-
thing,
the
right?
kurta, but yeah,
dhoti
I
at
think
least,
the
I mean-
No, but
dhoti is
maybe
right.
they need that to come back. You need to
But I'm
reinvent
sure they
yourself.
have people advising them. I mean, not
But not as a
stylists,
collective whole.
but I am sure that they have people who
I
kind
think
of draw their attention to how they look on, when they make public appearances, and I'm pretty sure.
See,
I
I
think
interviewed the
it's
late
very
Rajesh Pilot
Yeah.
for MTV in '96,
Mm-hmm.
and it was amazing because he did a Star News interview before that, a Star Plus interview with Barkha, and in kurta pajama and in Hindi.
Right.
And we said, "Sir, abhi ready hai?" And he said, "Give me 2 minutes." He came back in blue t-shirt and jeans, and I asked him, I said, "Sir, why did you change?"
Yeah.
And the first thing he said, "Different markets." Straight away. So he was. It's a
Yeah,
little
he knew.
simplistic.
Yeah.
He was bang
So he
on.
was aware of
He was
it.
aware.
He was aware.
He said, "I'm not
Yeah.
doing an MTV interview. I want to be
Yeah.
jeans and a t-shirt. And I
Yeah.
want, this is me."
Yeah.
And he
That's
was
interesting.
funny and all that with us, and he
Yeah.
was very serious with her.
Right,
Very
yeah.
interesting politician.
That's
Unfortunately,
very
died too early.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
he was always
Yeah,
well.
I thought he would,
well
bridge
regarded.
between masses and
Yeah,
classes.
he was very
had
well
that
regarded.
Yeah.
Thing.
Yep.
All right.
All right. Next question is: did you hear about? So, what do you think about the self-driving car? The first fatality occurred on that,
Did you
right?
hear about this? This guy spent
Tesla.
Tesla.
Tesla,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he
Very
loves the
sad.
brand and all that.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, the brand is finished as far as I'm concerned. You can't give me.
Yeah.
It's too dangerous.
You don't
but I mean,
recover
one
from
second,
that.
hold on.
150,000 miles of checking and something like that.
No, hold the thing. Well, the brand should not be finished in any way whatsoever, right?
I will never allow my family member or myself to. Come on, would you?
Well,
Anybody
hold on.
close to you?
Just-
The moment
well,
it's not foolproof,
Right.
you can't take a chance. So what you're saying is, you got a car which is driving itself.
Okay.
And it's supposed to be able to avoid things.
Yeah.
And then they give some excuse like it was white snow in the background, a white mountain in the background, and there's a
Right.
white truck coming. And this is a semi, which
No,
is,
so-
as you know,
okay, so-
having studied in America, both of you,
Yeah.
is the biggest thing in the world.
Yeah.
So, a few points. One, that truck was not up to code. Okay, the truck had so the clearance of the truck was too high. Okay, in terms of how high
Amit,
the
you can't do that.
You have
Not
to be
good enough.
prepared for anything.
I'm giving you a couple of points here. Okay, that's number one. The second thing to consider, so that truck is not at a standard height that you would normally expect. So Tesla, the Tesla software thought it was a bridge or a sign rather than a truck. Now so one. Number two, the guy who is supposed to be driving was watching a frickin' movie while driving. Okay, you're not supposed to do this. These are not
They ask you to stay aware.
Yeah.
But having said that, stay aware, but at the end of the
he's
day...
driving a movie, he's watching a movie, sitting in the wheel, driving at 90 miles per hour.
That's crazy.
Tesla has to do better. If I had the money...
Tesla has to do better. But let me give you one more thing. Okay, when you look at self-driving cars, Tesla has driven 170 million miles without a single... with the first fatality.
Yeah.
The average number of
across countries and
everywhere.
Conditions
170 million miles they've driven without a single fatality, with their first fatality. The number that fatalities occur at on a general basis is every 85 million
That's
miles.
not good enough. That's
not
a totally
good
different argument.
Why is that a different argument?
The argument is that
Also,
you're giving me a car which is a robot or remote controlled or whatever you want to...
It's assisted driving at this point. It's an assisted driving car. It's not a self-driving car.
I cannot drive. Okay, I'm not driving.
Right.
You are driving. Your app is driving, whatever.
Right.
Okay, so I'm not driving.
Okay.
Now, once there's a fatality, I don't know, man. You can't explain to me only
Cyrus,
these...
nothing is foolproof. I mean, anyway.
But then why will I spend so much money? It's damn scary. Would you let your child go in a car like this then?
Yeah,
because you know there's their eyes off the road for 2 minutes.
Statistically, it's 100 times safer than your other cars
Exactly.
are.
I think they've lost a lot of equity with that one.
They have. It's a problem. I'm not saying it's not. I'm saying it's not an issue. I'm not saying it's not an issue. It is an issue that needs to be looked at, right? But from a pure numerical standpoint, it is still so much safer than a person.
Yeah.
You trust him with your driver. This random guy who you hired a month ago.
My driver has body odor. Nobody goes next to him.
You trust him. You trust your kids with that. You won't trust
Tesla
your kids.
sucks. If it was a Premier Padmini, nothing would have gone wrong.
Okay, I can see that.
We couldn't drive those either. How difficult those were.
But I think it's also, more about this one fatality, the exact circumstances of what happened, how it happened.
See, the publicity that they've got is fantastic if you look at it from one angle.
No, it's terrible.
But
It's
my worry is that
at the
end of the day, the guy died. The moment the guy died, no matter
it's
how
huge.
much...
It's huge.
Everybody knows about the car now,
Right.
across 180 countries.
Yeah.
We're discussing it here. She's a fashion designer and image consultant. You're a podcast...
Right.
I mean, we've got nothing to do with the car world.
Right. Yeah.
But we all know about it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I don't think any of us would, if we had the money, buy it for a family member.
I would. It is safer.
Oh, come on, Amit, you're talking rubbish.
It is safer. I really...
Would you really feel safe if one of your loved ones was in that car?
So there are a lot. So self-driving cars is, I think, the safer way. Like 10 years, 15 years down the line, self-driving cars are far safer than human drivers. Far
So then when you want to take your girlfriend for a drive, what happens? She goes alone with the car.
I sit with her in the back.
I mean, there's never thinking it through, man. These Americans are screwing with your mind, bro.
I don't need to drive. I can just sit.
Separate cars. Want to keep the
way to
marriage
go.
happy.
The way of the future.
All right, I guess we're going to disagree on this.
I think we have disagreed.
But I think,
I have to get a makeover. Hina's had enough. She's been polite for too long.
No.
She can't take it anymore. She wants to change me right now.
We have to get your 3-piece suit in, Cyrus.
In this weather?
we got to get him in different t-shirts.
It's an AC studio.
Hardly. The AC is in the other part of the studio. Okay, catch us on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Beyond Pod, any of the podcasting apps. Please, we beg you, we need you. If you have any questions, write to us online and you can mail us as well. We will answer. We have a doctor in the house called me.
And that's what Cyrus says.
All right, if you've listened to this show called Cyrus Says and you want your money back, let me tell you, that can't be done right now. But we can make you feel better if you listen to Made in India. That's M-A-E-D, Made in India, with me. There's no D in me. Although, maybe one day.
Hey man, just help me out, man. I need some podcast, man. I haven't had a fix in a week. Just need some.
Don't you worry about it. I got podcast galore for you, man. Just go to ivmpodcast.com. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Thanks, man. I'm gonna check it out.